Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to change out the fan unit and controller on a 2nd gen Infiniti FX and QX series. Okay, I just changed out 2 of the hoses for the radiator, and here's the units. So I changed out this controller unit a couple of years ago, but according to the dealership, it failed, which probably led to my radiator going out as well. Here's the one we're replacing it with. One thing I noticed is it's only got 1 controller unit. Okay, so in order to get more room, one thing you're going to want to do is take out the air box on the driver's side and the passenger side, because then you can see down here you have a lot more room to work with. Now the only thing really holding this fan unit in are 2 10mm bolts. There's one on the driver's side and there's one on the passenger side. And honestly, that's it. It kind of clips into the bottom, or there's a slot in the bottom for this thing to sit. You'll see it when you pull it out or you look at the replacement one. None of the rest of these connectors need to come off. Really, it's just 2 bolts. 2 bolts and a bunch of zip ties. So looking at this diagram going left to right, I had to break the 2 on the left. There's the connector, you just have to unplug it. There's a zip tie connected to a factory hose, probably from a dealership at some point. The overflow hose goes down the middle, a connector on the driver's side, and there was another clamp that you had to break off, or a zip tie you had to break out. Okay, so now this video, I'm just gonna show you guys exactly what I tore off. I had to shear that thing off. I couldn't quite get it off with a clip or screwdriver. I had to snap this one off as well. So that's 2 on the passenger side. There's where the 10mm bolt goes. So again, that's 2 things I had to snap off or clip off. There's the passenger fan that I unplugged. There's another thing I had to cut off. And on the driver's side, unplug this from the unit, and I had to cut that little zip tie. Now that we have the thing off, you're looking at the OEM unit with the 2 controllers, and pay attention to this on the side. There's a hose that comes down that runs the transmission fluid. This is the clip I had to cut off for the zip tie. And also down here, the transmission hose and another hose clip in there. And then on the passenger side, again, just like the diagram, I had to cut this thing off. I didn't buy replacement ones. I just ended up using my own zip ties. This thing, again, was connected to the factory hose. I didn't replace it to get it out of here. I guess in hindsight, maybe I could have or should have, and I can always still go down there and do it. So now we're looking at the new unit and the old unit. And one thing about the new unit is, as I mentioned earlier, it only has 1 controller. I called my dealership and they said that's pretty normal. Manufacturers, they switch off from the 2 controllers to 1 fan controller. It didn't matter which one I looked up, they all came back to this 1 unit. So hopefully this has to do the trick. And as you can see, I already ran the hose right down the middle. Well, after I took the fan unit off, you look down and you can see that there's really nothing down there. It's just the radiator. Okay, so what I ended up doing is, at this point, I'd already took the radiator out, put the radiator in. As you can see, the lower radiator hose. And this right here is the transmission hose that comes off from the top of the new radiator. Now we got the fan in. And it was the last thing I put in after the radiator, but before I did the bleeder valve. And then I just took a zip tie and tied the passenger side connector so it faces upward. And that's it for installing this fan unit. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and check out my podcast, Hard Parking with Jay Finning, the non-automotive automotive podcast, and I will catch you guys later.